Hey, I'm Blurbox. Quick update based on what came out of the Monster Hunter Festival in Japan and the info that was shared with us. The anniversary roadmap had those mystery event slots, and now we know what they actually are. We've got 2 collabs with new gear, and we've got 10-star event quests that are clearly meant to be the top-end challenge during this celebration. I'm going to keep this simple: what was revealed, the dates, and what you'll be doing in the game. The biggest change here is the 10-star event quest. That's the part of this update that actually changes how the game feels. Once hunts gets pushed to that tier, you usually don't get the same room for mistakes. People can still clear it, but you can't play messy and expect it to work out. One of the standouts they called out is 10-star Zoh Shia. Zoh Shia already had a reputation even before this, so if you're pushing it into a 10-star version, the expectation is pretty straightforward. More health, more damage, and is going to punish bad positioning and late heals. If you're planning to run it, you're probably going to feel the difference right away. Not because the fight is completely new, but because the numbers are tuned, so mistakes cost more. Next, first collab is the one that sounds random until you see how they tied it into the game. Ichiran Ramen. This starts February 25th. It's built around the Grand Hub and the food loop. There's an Ichiran setup in the Grand Hub. You interact with the NPC clerk, you get order forms, and those forms tie into the canteen so you can eat the collab ramen meals with the full animation. The important part is it's just not a cosmetic. The ramen meals come with food skills, and they actually listed out what some of those effects do. So one example is the classic tonkatsu ramen option. The way it's described, using a food or drink item temporarily boosts things like focus, strike, wound destruction, and part damage. And that's not a small thing in Wilds, because a lot of hunts revolve around opening wounds and cashing in on those high damage windows. So if the buff is strong and consistent, it could be one of those meals people start defaulting to before harder quests, especially when you're trying to break specific parts or keep a hunt moving. Then there's the other one people immediately focused on: the extra noodle effect. The way it's described, the first food or drink item you use can be used in extra time during that window. And that's why people are going to test, because the obvious question is, what counts as food or drink items here? Is it only the specific hunt prep consumables, or does it extend to all items? I'm not going to claim it does more than what's stated, but the moment it goes live, people are going to figure out the limits, because if it lets you squeeze extra value out of key consumables, that's real utility. They also mentioned other ramen options and skills, including a stamina focused version and some random food skills that can roll on top. So it's not just one fixed buff. There's a little bit of variety depending on what you want to pick and what rolls. Either way, the point is this collab just isn't funny ramen in the hub. It's food buffs that could matter, especially with 10-star quests dropping around the same time. Now to the one that most people are expected, the Universal Studios Japan USJ. This starts March 3rd. It's the classic setup. You run the collab quests, you earn the special materials, and you use them to craft the USJ armor and weapons. USJ gear is usually some of the best looking collab gear in the game, so a lot of people are going to farm it either way. But the part I'm watching is the weapon skill they mentioned, convert water resistance. That kind of skill can end up being a small bonus, or it can end up being a real build piece depending on what it converts into and how it stacks with the rest of your build setup. So once this is live, the question is going to be, are these weapons worth keeping in rotation, or are they mainly there for collection and layered looks? If you skipped USJ collabs in the past and regretted it later, this is your reminder. These are the ones that don't always come back fast. And then the other big 10-star reveal, 10-star Gogmazios. If you fought Gog before, you already know it's not a quick casual hunt. Even without a difficulty spike, it's a long fight with a lot of pressure. So a 10-star version usually means more health, more damage, and less room for small mistakes. The part that stood out in the information that was shared is the idea that this version may reduce the hunter support you normally have helping you out. Basically 4 support hunters down compared to the usual setup. And that matters because those support hunters aren't just there for show. They contribute real damage and help keep the hunt pace manageable. If you take that away while Gog still has a massive health pool, it turns into a much more demanding clear. You're working harder for longer. Then there's the other big question. Phase 3, specifically the part where Fabius normally gives players especially non-block weapons, a safe option to play around. If Fabius isn't there for the function in this 10-star version, then players might have to adjust in a pretty practical way. Either your positioning has to be perfect, or you may need to bring your own blocking option. So that can mean people running a secondary weapon that can block and swapping to it when that moment comes. Because if the fight no longer provides that safety net, you have to bring it yourself. And that's the kind of change that makes a hunt feel completely different. Even if the monster's moveset is mostly the same, less support, less cover, and more responsibility on the player team to manage the dangerous parts of the fight. So yeah, 10 Star Gogmazios sounds like a real test. Once it's live, we'll know exactly how those supports and phase mechanics shake out. But this is clearly one of the prove-it quests of the anniversary stretch. So here's a quick timeline recap. February 25th is the Ichiran Ramen collab, which involves the Grand Hub setup, ramen meals, and food skills. March 3rd is the USJ armor weapons and that convert water resistance skill. And alongside that, the 10-star event quest are the big in-game push, Zoh Shia and Gogmazios being the ones people are already talking about. Drop a comment and tell me what you're doing first. Are you farming the USJ gear right away, testing the ramen buffs, or jumping straight into those 10-star quests as soon as they're live? If you've had the pleasure of making it this far in the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next video, and drop a comment below. Are you farming the USJ gear first, or are you planning to go straight into those 10-star quests? I'm Blurred Box, a random dude on the internet. Other than that, check you out in the next one. Peace.